Hello and welcome. My name is Michel, and in today's video I'll be diving into the realm of Oracle AI services on the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. In this video I will cover some of the AI services that Oracle has available on OCI today, and it's intended for everyone looking to start incorporating AI in their business. I will not cover advanced topics such as large language models or Oracle's AI superclusters, and in future videos I will dive a bit deeper into specific use cases and show you how you can incorporate Oracle's AI services in your own software. Now, what is AI? Artificial intelligence is functionality which has the ability to mimic cognitive abilities and problem-solving capabilities of human intelligence. Today's AI already far surpasses the speed at which humans can process information, with the added benefit that AI doesn't need sleep, doesn't eat, or is inherently biased. Today's application of AI is insanely impressive, and this will only become increasingly better in the coming years. There's already a lot of companies out there which have AI functionality available, ChatGPT being the most famous one. So what AI services do we have available on OCI today? There's quite a few. Let's start with the first one, which is language. Here you can, for example, translate text from one language to the other, but you can also upload text and let it tell you what the sentiment of the text is, the subjects, if there's any names in there, all types of functionality which you can use on unstructured text. There's a speech service available where you can, for example, transcribe customer service calls. So you upload an audio file, which you can also use, for example, to automate subtitling, which then generates metadata for the media assets that you've uploaded, which allows you to have a fully searchable archive where you can actually search on certain keywords because every file that you've uploaded has been transcribed. There's a vision service. Here you can extract insight from visual data. What that means is that you can upload a picture and it will tell you what is in the picture. For example, if you upload a picture of a car, it will identify this as being a car, but it will also identify objects such as the wheels, maybe the wipers. It's quite detailed. Then there's the document understanding service. This allows you to extract insights from document data. An example is that you upload a PDF or an image of a receipt and it will highlight which values on the receipt are actually important. So taxes, for example, or the name of the restaurant. It's quite advanced. Then we have the anomaly detection service. This allows you to extract insights from time series data. So what that means is, for example, you can let it monitor log files from your application. If any disruption happens or undesirable event, it will flag this as being an anomaly, and well, depending on how you use it, it will notify you of such a thing happening. Then we have the digital assistant. I think most people know this one. This allows you to, for example, create a chatbot. It's quite advanced. You can train it on data from your own application. So I think a great example here is using your support tool, creating a model which is trained on the data in your support tool, and then create a digital assistant out of this. So people can then speak to the digital assistant and, for example, get information about a certain issue that they run into and get a solution presented or something else. So let's look at a specific example of the OCI AI vision service called object recognition. Now, if I show you an image of a chicken, subconsciously your brain processes details of the chicken to identify it as being such. So it's got a beak, for example, and it's got feathers. AI is very much the same. Based on details in an image, it is able to identify what the image is. However, this is something that's been trained. Your human brain has been trained to recognize images as well. Someone once in your life has taught you what a chicken looks like. Now, most AI that is available today comes with pre-trained models, and these pre-trained models allow it to identify very common objects like a bicycle or a car, etc. All right, let me give you a brief demonstration of this specific OCI AI vision service. So here we are in the OCI console. I've navigated in the menu to the AI and Analytics option, and I have selected Vision. Now there's several things you can do here, but for this demonstration, I'm just going to show you what the image classification does. There's already demo images available here, and as you can see, it is able to correctly identify what is in the image. It sees that there are overhead power lines, it sees that there's a road in here, a transmission tower, etc. So I'm going to supply it with an image of our rooster, and as you can see, it is able to correctly identify what it sees in the image, and it's highlighting details as well, such as a beak, but it also sees things like vegetation. It's actually quite powerful from what I've seen. Sometimes it's even able to identify details in an image which I am not even able to identify. So for example, the text on a bus. So it's quite powerful and accurate. So the Oracle AI, as you just saw, is already pre-trained on images. So there's pre-trained models available for pretty much every AI service that you can find in OCI. So these are out of the box, ready to be used. However, what if, and if we go back to the example of the vision service, you wanted to correctly identify the name of your chicken. These types of details are pretty much unique to you. So if you want the OCI AI Vision service to be able to recognize this, you would have to create a custom model and you would have to train this on images of that specific chicken. So let me give you a brief demonstration of creating a custom model. So here we are back in the OCI console under the Vision service. I'm going to go ahead and click the projects option here, which is used for custom models. I've already created the project, which I'm going to click, and within this project, I'm going to create my own model. Now it's going to be image classification. I will create a new data set, and here I will create the new data set called AI Demo Storm 2. So the data set format is going to be images, and I wanted to do object detection, which once it's been trained is able to draw a box around the image that you've trained it on, and it should be able to then correctly identify the object in the image that you wanted to identify. We're going to click next. I've already created a bucket for this specific example, and I am going to upload 32 images of the specific chicken I wanted to recognize. So as you can see, it's processing the images, checking for if it's already existing, and I'm going to call this Storm 2. So once we've done that, we've supplied it with the images, we've supplied it with the label, and then we're going to go ahead and just click next. Here you have a review screen with some of the details, and I'm just going to press create. So now it will start generating the data records. And after a while, it will present you with all the data records uploaded. Now, the next step is to actually identify where it needs to draw the box in the image. So you need to go through every one of the images, and you need to draw a box around what the object is. Now, it's already selected the label, and then we're just going to click Save and Next. We're going to go through all the images I've uploaded to supply it with the correct label. All right, so fast forward to the end result of the painstaking process of going through all the images. As you can see, I've processed all the images and everything now has the status labeled. So this data set is ready to be used. Now we're just going to go ahead and navigate back to the vision option, and we're going to go back to the project that we created. And instead of choosing the create a new data set option under the create model button, we're going to just choose the existing data set. Now, important to note is that the type you select here has to match with the data set that you've created. As you can see, it was set to image classification, but it needs to be object detection. If there's a mismatch, you will actually get an error message when you supply the model for processing. So we're going to click next, and we're going to provide it with a name. And the training duration, we're just going to leave it on the recommended mode, which may take up to 24 hours. And click next. And then we get a review screen, and we're just going to click create and train. Now we'll start training on the images that I've supplied it with. You can track the progress here. It might take some time to actually process this. Of course, I'm going to skip forward to the end result. So as you can see, our model is finished processing a lot quicker than 24 hours. It actually finished shortly after I started it. And now that it's finished, there's additional menu options available here. There's a training metrics option where you can get some figures on the precision, for example, of the model. And there's an analyze option available where you can upload an image, which will then use the model that we've created. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to drag a image in here, which I've taken of the chicken in question. And as you can see on the right here, it's showing the label as being identified in the image. Now you might wonder why the confidence percentage is relatively low compared to some of the demo samples that you've seen with the Vision service. And this is a nice segue into the next slide of the presentation. Now, the reason why the confidence percentage is a bit lower compared to the demo images that you've seen is everything to do with data volume and quality. Some of the images that I've used to train the model did not have the subject fully visible, for example. Now, your custom model will only be as good as the volume and quality of the data that you're giving it, which makes a lot of sense, of course. And this is a very important factor in the effectiveness of your custom model and something to take into account when starting with them. It doesn't end there, however. Data has a tendency to change a lot, so you should train your model more often than just once. But also make sure that you use high quality data, otherwise your custom model might not perform accurately at all. Now that we're nearing the end of this video, I want to highlight a few specific use cases which I think are great and relatively easy to start with. Now, I'm not going to include the use case for identification of chickens, since I doubt this video will be seen by many people who have an occupation as chicken farmer. So the first one is a digital support assistant. You can create a digital assistant trained on the data in your knowledge base. This assistant can then automate interactions with end users. So end users just start a conversation with the digital support assistant, ask them questions, and the support assistant is then able to provide them with answers on, for example, common issues that they run into. Prevents them from having to go through the knowledge base or contacting the support desk. Another great one is fraud detection. You can create a custom anomaly detection model trained on your HR data to automatically flag transactions as being fraudulent. It will provide you with, for example, outlier analysis. Another great one is automated receipt processing. You can use document understanding to upload receipts, which will then extract information from the receipt. You can then digitally store this information for declaration of expenses. It will identify which lines are article lines, but it will also tell you what tax is included. It will also be able to identify which store this receipt is from. And finally, anomaly detection. I think Oracle already incorporates this in many of their products, but you can use it for your own custom software as well. For example, you can scan log files of maybe a web server, which is then able to proactively identify signs of incoming issues. Depending on how you set this up, it can even notify you of such an issue occurring, which should help you in decreasing the amount of errors in your application. All of these services that I've shown you in this presentation are actually available outside of the OCI console as well. It's quite easy to integrate with this from your own application. You can, for example, use API endpoints, but you can also use software development kits. I've been experimenting with this in my own custom Java application, which I will showcase in a future video. I do have to mention up front that the complexity is definitely not in achieving the integration itself. It is processing the information that you get back. So it's very much similar to building an interface. And that was it for today's video. I hope you learned something new about the AI services on OCI. If you have any questions, then please let me know in the comments. For now, thank you for watching and see you next time.